Hey, good evening, Augusta Nation. It is about 7:15 here in Augusta, Georgia. Just ending the day, leaving the office and heading home. So we didn't have too much on the estimator agenda today. We did have a Thursday morning meeting, and I forgot to hit record again. It was a pretty good one. So we do Monday morning meetings and Thursday. So we typically start at 7. Those 2 meeting days, our team gets there at 6:45. We try to have a short meeting and get about our day. So today's topic of the meeting was effective communication and how important it is as far as a skill to learn and to be a leader and to just be able to convey in a clear way your feelings or just a message that you're trying to get across, and trying to make it specific to them as far as our business and why communication is so important. So the way that we onboard new team members is we put them with a more experienced team member. We don't have a hierarchy here at Augusta, so everybody is a leader, is responsible for their own actions, responsible for the outcome of every property. But whenever we have somebody new come in, what we do is we put them with a more experienced team leader. A more experienced team member. And then right now I'm working on a system. What we typically do is when they first come in, we do a in-person interview. I've got about 15 to 20 questions that I ask, from have you heard anything about Augusta Lawn Care? What's your experience? I get references with phone numbers, ask them about some of their long-term goals, and then I explain our pay-for-performance model, a little bit about our culture, some of our opportunities, and what values that we will make hiring decisions, and also reprimand and ultimately fire somebody if they do not hold those values. And then the second part of the interview is our sniff test, if you will. It is just a short skills assessment of somebody, if someone can use a line trimmer or a weed eater, whatever you call it, because that's super important. And it is very bad if you are sent somebody, if you're an experienced team member trying to get production done and they cannot use a line trimmer. It halts production to less than what you could do by yourself. So I wouldn't want to do that to anybody. So when they pass the sniff test, you get put with an experienced team member, and we try to limit the tasks that they are concentrating on and being assessed to do. So line trimming, super important, and edging is pretty much the first day of what they get assessed. And if they can pick it up and not halt production, and their work ethic is good, their attitude is good, and there's nothing, no red flags, then they can proceed and go on to the second day. But what we're finding is communication, as far as conveying that message to somebody, when you are doing it in a way that you're an authority, as far as you're assessing somebody and you're having to tell them what they're doing wrong, how to correct the behavior. If you've got a technical skill, even that, it's difficult if you're not used to it, stopping somebody, saying, hey, I see that you're line trimming, when you're doing it, you are putting the line trimmer on the ground, you're burning out the grass. What we need you to do is hold it at a level that the mower is going to cut, and that's how we need you to do it. It's difficult to do when you've never done that before. And so our team members, our more experienced team members, they're good. The communication is where it is difficult to train. So went over how important it is to have assertive assertive communication. So being clear, so that as far as the tone of voice, somebody can easily understand you. Being direct, so getting the message, hitting home with the message that you're trying to deliver without having any sort of feelings that you might be frustrated, and you're direct to the point of the correction or what you're trying to come across. You're respectful, you're considerate of other people's feelings, and you're truthful, and so that they know exactly what it is they're doing wrong and what they need to correct. And that assertive behavior is conveying your feelings and your message while also respecting other people's feelings. And so when you do that, even though that you're correcting somebody, or when you have to let somebody know that they don't really possess the skills at the moment to be a part of your team, it can be a negative action, letting somebody go, but you can do it in a positive way by informing them how they can improve and being respectful. So that's something we are struggling with as far as a whole, the onboarding process of new team members, trying to make it, because it's super frustrating for our team because they're all about production, and whenever you have a new team member, that production's gonna decrease, and it's just frustrating. Number one, when your production is decreasing, but number two, having to use the verbal skills that you may not be comfortable with. So I don't know if y'all have experienced this. If you're listening and you've got an onboarding process, or you've got some things that work, or some things that you struggle with, feel free to share in the comments. And I'd like to know what's working, and like to communicate with things that you're having trouble with. Maybe I can help out. When I talk to the guys about improving their communication and how to effectively be assertive, I've learned just through experience, and reading some books and things like that. But that's what we were dealing with a good bit today, and we're going to try to improve it, try to make it a written process, something that is not so stressful on our current team, and also brings in new team members that they can have a system to follow and be able to be brought up to speed, hopefully within 2 weeks. That's the goal. So, but other than that, we had 3 interviews today. So got to we had 4 scheduled and 3 showed up. So that was actually an inverse of the norm. Usually you have 4 scheduled and 1 shows up. But it was a great day. So we had 3 candidates. All 3 of them came in. We had Christopher, we had Franklin, and Rashad. All of them came in. They had good conversation. They were engaged in the interview, asked questions, and then all 3 of them passed the sniff test, the line trim test. And so Rashad and Christopher will be joining us tomorrow. That's the second step of the process, as they get invited out with a team member. So they'll go out for a day, get to make some money. The new team member gets to see if our company and culture is a fit for them, and we get to assess them to see if they can come back the next day. So all in all, very stoked about having 3 team members that we're going to be able to try out. That means we've got a full team. We now have 8 team members for our 4 trucks of maintenance, and then we've got Mukit holding it down on the projects, doing a great job with the solo route, and he has some help when he needs it, but all in all, he's doing great solo. So that is a blessing. We've been, I guess it's been somewhere around 10 weeks. I don't know, lose track of time when you're in the thick of it. It might have been a whole 12 weeks. We've been down labor. Now, if all this works well, if these guys between Christopher, Franklin, or Rashad, if they're gonna show up, number one, and number two, be a good fit, we will be just fine for the rest of the year. And so super happy about that. That should mean very limited, if 0 Saturdays work between now and Christmas. So super stoked about that. That was a big win. Big win. So and what we do as far as the line trimming, whenever we come and do that first test at our shop, and we've got some of our property we can do, but our shop's in an industrial complex, and not too many people maintain their property, so it's real easy to find a patch of grass to line trim around. So we did that. I think I only had 1 estimate today. Did some we did some accounts receivable, and that I would really like to get our accounts receivable. We're owed right now. We got open invoices of about $55,000, and would really like to shrink that to only having 10% in accounts receivable. We average $100,000 a month in. That's right, $100,000 a month in invoices sent out in revenue. So if we could keep accounts receivable to 10%, that would be super great. So I'm going to try to work on that between now and the end of the year to get that down. My goal is to get it down to $10,000 at the end of the year. So one of the big reasons that's important is, number one, that's our majority of our profit is sitting there in accounts receivable. Also, the bonus towards our general manager, he'll be getting a bonus this year based on that. So he's been working super hard, been doing a great job. And if there's $50,000 in accounts receivable, that's $5,000 of his bonus right there. So really trying to get that in. What are y'all experiencing as far as your accounts receivable? Where does that usually lie as far as in relation to how much you invoice out each month? So what's usually the percentage that you hold on the books, and what's normal, what's comfortable? And actually, to be honest with you, none of it's comfortable. I would really love to be able to hit a button, have all cards on file, but I believe that for us adds another layer of friction to getting the sale of requiring cards on file. So that's why we don't do it. We try to reduce the friction of the sale, and it's got its pros and cons. But all in all, we had a really great day. Yesterday was the first day of fall. So here in Augusta, Georgia, used to the heat all the way through September. Woke up to 55 degrees, and I think it got up to about 80. So all in all, great day with Augusta. With the bakery, did not too much got done. We talked with equipment supplier and talked with the contractor a little bit, but headway's being made. This weekend we've got to go pick up an oven. It is a double deck convection oven. We'll have to take apart and slide out sideways of a small door, and then we'll be most likely storing it at the shop until our location, actually about to pass it right now, our location opens up. So let me know what y'all think about accounts receivable and about your onboarding process and the pains that you may have experienced onboarding new employees, some of the pain points involved with that. But keep on going, fellas. And the summer is almost over. It's pretty much over for some of the parts of the world, or parts of the country. But till tomorrow, hope y'all have a great rest of your evening, and we will see you tomorrow evening or tomorrow midday.